Novo lit that shit bang.
Welcome back, everybody, to Crows of Judgment, and I really wanted to talk about this story. Chrissy Teigen, cookware line dropped by various retailers in light of her bullying and seppuku baiting of model Courtney Stodden. Now, look, for those of you who don't know who Chrissy Teigen is, count yourselves very lucky. Unfortunately, I am not one of you people. I am very unlucky. I know exactly who this person is, and honestly, good. Chrissy Teigen is, I guess the best way of putting it, an activist, right? And when I say activist, I mean an overtly privileged individual who lives a life of luxury and talks down to everybody else around her about how they can be better people. And just in general, like, just, you know, when you say activists, like type of people that go out and do shit, right? Nowadays, it feels like activist is basically just some idiot who bitches online at other people. Which, I mean, hey, I guess you could say that's what my YouTube channel is. So, whatever. But Chrissy Teigen is someone who supports canceling people. She's generally a nasty person that likes to surround herself with all these social issues to claim that she's not a nasty person, when in reality, she is indeed a nasty person. So, seeing her be canceled for the shit that she has said in the past, which, let's be honest, seppuku baiting people, telling people to end themselves, shit like that. Yeah, I find that to be something that is, like, worth criticizing. And I can completely understand why retailers would not want to be associated with someone who does that, right? Because, look, when we talk about, like, canceling people for things that they've said and done in the past, typically I don't support that because I do believe people can grow and they can change. And usually it's a situation where someone has made a joke in poor taste, or they've said something in the past that is culturally unacceptable today, but in the past was perfectly okay to say, like the R slur or the F slur, that kind of crap, right? But telling somebody to off themselves when they're 16 years old, like Chrissy Teigen did, that is the sign of a scumbag. There's no excuse for that. There's no going, I was just being edgy. No. You nasty fucking woman. Let's read through the article. Model and left-wing activist Chrissy Teigen has been involved in quite the scandal lately, which began when fellow model Courtney Stodden opened up to Daily Mail about some hurtful comments made towards her in the past by Teigen, including some wherein Teigen bullied the then 16-year-old Stodden and even encouraged her to commit seppuku. As it is to be expected from left-wing activists like Teigen, who like to hold everyone accountable for things they've done in the past, except for themselves, of course, all alleged tweets against Stodden have since been deleted. That was a little opinionated there, Mr. Josh Berger. It's a little opinionated. However, thanks to conservative commentator and New York Times bestselling author Candace Owens, who took numerous screenshots of the tweets in question, audiences can still see the tasteless comments made by Teigen towards Stodden. As a matter of fact, it is partially thanks to Owens that the topic recently gained traction on social media, since few seem to be condemning the left-wing activists for cruel tweets. You know, I that is something that I have noticed, right? And I pointed this out with several individuals who engage in, like, the cancel culture bullshit, is when you look at them, they don't have skeletons in their closet. Their homes are made of them, right? They are just out there with how nasty and terrible they are, right? And the thing is, they're always canceling other people, and they generally just kind of like seem to slide underneath the bar with the bullshit that they've done. I mean, look at Zombie Unicorn, for instance, right? You know, she goes after this Jeff Leach guy for his inappropriate comments. Meanwhile, she's calling people the F slur and saying incredibly derogatory things to other women, right? And she slides right under the bar. Meanwhile, she's calling out other people and canceling them. And that kind of seems like what happened with Chrissy Teigen. She was sliding under the bar. She goes after other people. She cancels them. She engages in this nasty shit. And now that her own stuff was brought to the surface, her audience doesn't want to say anything. The people who support her, causes, because let's be honest, she doesn't support any of them. They don't want to. They don't want to call her out, right? Because snitches get stitches. You don't cross your own people, right? But I guess Candace Owens wouldn't drop it and kept showing the shit that she had said, which eventually got other people involved. And I would imagine that some people who support Chrissy Teigen even said, you know what, we can't be this hypocritical. We quite literally have to say something. I don't know. I'm from my observations, that kind of seems like what happened. But I always say this, when you engage in this level of bullshit, when you engage in this cancel culture nonsense, your own crap will be dug up and thrown in your face eventually. And it seems like Chrissy's just not able to fly under the radar anymore. So this is a tweet from Candace Owens. Donald Trump was censored off the internet for writing nothing even remotely violent. People would disagree, obviously. Chrissy Teigen told a then 16-year-old to commit seppuku and that she couldn't wait for her to die and is allowed to keep all of her accounts. Disgusting. Yeah? Yeah? I mean, yeah. I gotta say, though, I noticed something recently with, certain conservatives and how they're, there's this group of them going after CEOs of these major companies. I think with, American Airlines, because they made some sort of statement about Georgia or whatever, not too important to the story, other than the fact that they then went and pointed out that this guy took, millions of dollars in bonuses during the COVID crisis when they were laying off people like crazy, right? Typically, you don't see conservatives doing that, but, I mean, I think this is the world we live in now, right? Where it doesn't matter what side you're on. This is just the easiest way of getting what you want, right? Start a public spectacle. Call people out, right? Hold people accountable. This is, the shit that Candace Owens is saying here is the sort of stuff that I see people on the left doing. And I've seen them do it for years, literal years. They've been pulling this shit, right? And now I see Candace Owens, who's very, 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 very clearly on the right, engaging in that same behavior. Why does Target sponsor this trash, right? She's going after her sponsors the same way people on the left have done. Now you see people on the right, high-profile people on the right, like Candace Owens, doing it. I personally, I don't like that, but I've kind of thought about this for a while, in the sense that if you see one group constantly doing something and they're constantly getting away with their bullshit, and it goes on for years, right? And all they do is seem to gain power, while meanwhile you're publicly mocked and ridiculed and shit. Why wouldn't you just take their tactics and do them, right? Why not? It's worked for them. It's going to work for you too, right? Target, I don't think Target personally cares about if you're left or right wing. I think Target doesn't want to be accused of supporting a girl who told a 16-year-old, what is this? Telling a 16-year-old girl that you fantasize about her being dead. Look, Target doesn't want to be associated with that. So why wouldn't people on the right, like Candace Owens is doing right now, target the sponsors of everybody on the left and point out, hey, this person was out there using the gay slur repeatedly. Hey, here's all the clips of them saying it. Why are you supporting somebody who's a homophobe? And look, you can argue that they're not being sincere, but it's not that doesn't matter. It literally doesn't matter. And it just keeps going on and on from there. So Look, there's a statement from Chrissy Teigen here where she goes, not a lot of people are lucky enough to be held accountable for all their past bullshit. Lucky. Fuck you, bitch. In front of the entire world. I'm mortified and sad at who I used to be. I was an insecure, attention-seeking troll. I'm like, my only issue with all these statements from her is, no, you don't get to do that. You don't get to apologize. You said these things, right? You should be held accountable for your past actions. Do I think that it's kind of fucked that you're bringing up shit from 10 years ago? Do I think Chrissy Teigen could have changed? I mean, realistically, no, but like, in reality, it's been 10 years. She could have changed. But, for years now, we've seen people on the left cancel people from every side of the political spectrum, including other people on the left, for shit that they've dug up from years ago. Now you have high-profile people on the right saying, okay, we're going to do the same thing. And there you go. Chrissy Teigen loses sponsors. This is the new battleground, right? And I think that as slow to the uptake as people on the right have been about this kind of behavior, it's been effective. And that's the sad part about it. It has absolutely been an effective way of getting what you want, right? Squeaky wheel gets the grease. I don't like it. I think it can only get worse from here. But yeah, Chrissy Teigen, I was about to say popular. Chrissy Teigen, a somewhat known celebrity who is a well-known left-wing activist in those circles, just got canceled. She just lost sponsors. And a right-wing person did it to her. So I would say that's my big takeaway on this. I think people on the right are going to be copying what they've seen people on the left doing, and it's only going to make the divides worse. But it's not like I can blame them. I literally can't. Yes, it is going to make things worse, but at the same time, it's only been getting kind of worse for one side, and now that side is just saying, well, fuck it, we're just going to do the same thing. Fuck you. And there you go. There you go. I say give it another year, and in 2024, I am full on Team Meteor, the candidate that we need. Meteor is going to come down and just give us all what we fucking deserve.
Novo lit that shit and bang.